Hello and welcome to Economic Forum, where we discuss various issues affecting our economy in Zimbabwe. These can be issues to do with agriculture, with industry, to do with international relations, and many other aspects of life. My name is John Masugu. At the commencement of the Second Republic, His Excellency the President, Comrade Emerson Mnangagwa, decided to put the Department of International Trade within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which then means that all the embassies are actually responsible for attracting international trade, and the ambassadors have to lead that role. And it is in that context that today we've got Ambassador Victor Matemadanda, who is our representative, and by our representative, he is the one who represents the president in Mozambique, which is why when you are there, Ambassador Matemadanda, you are His Excellence, where you take that title on behalf of the president. So welcome to Economic Forum.
Thank you.
Yes. It is important in this program that we discuss what we benefit from Mozambique, particularly considering that there was a lot we benefited in liberating our country. But now, thereafter, what are we benefiting in terms of trade? And we also have an opportunity for you to discuss about the audio that is circulating, that is saying you are actually attacking your principal. But first thing first, the trade.
The wisest thing that the president did was to put international trade in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. He changed the outlook of our investment and trade trust to include it in the day-to-day diplomatic work. It is very true that both Mozambique and Zimbabwe benefited much during the liberation struggle. First by Mozambique supporting us, giving us the rear bases and so forth and so on. But also, after our independence, we went to defend Mozambique during the Matsanga Renamo era. But the two countries had not benefited economically from this historical relationship. And it is, I think, because there was not that trust of economic diplomacy. And as we speak, everything has been opened up. We benefit from many things. Beira becomes the route to international trade. That is our goods coming.
Is it still operating very well? Has it grown
to capacity or overcapacity? In fact, one day I was speaking to the president, asking him that maybe we should have a dry port in Mtare, because the congestion, because of the volume of traffic that we have, that people see, has a lot to do with having a dry port, because some vehicles may take about 5 days at the border before clearance. So there is a lot going on, and all our goods are coming. Most, in fact, of our goods are coming through Beira.
Yeah. Some of these issues, Ambassador Matemadanda, on the Mozambican side, is there reciprocation in the way they are doing their business, to the extent that all this cargo that is coming from right from DRC, Zambia, and Zimbabwe can actually be handled well, and even from Mozambique?
Well, every country has got its systems, and at times systems are corrupt. I'm saying this because I know you've heard people complaining. At one time, we averted a situation when our drivers had wanted to go on strike, because there are many demands that come from the police being made to our drivers. In fact, I am writing a paper about what governments should do to harmonize relations between truck drivers and mainly the police, the customs people. Because these truck drivers are movers of the economy. They are enablers of the economy. But when they get to a roadblock, a policeman thinks otherwise. When they get to the border, the customs officer sees a criminal. But no, these people are moving the goods and services that we want. So I think there should be harmonization of the relations between those people as all facilitators and enablers of economic activities.
In fact, as you say that, Ambassador Matemadanda, the question of language, and also considering that Mozambique was Portuguese East Africa and it was under the Portuguese, and most of the neighbors in the SADC were under British rule. What opportunities do you see in terms of those who want to improve the languages so that they are not a hindrance at the borders, and also the general management, of these freight systems? Talk to the Zimbabweans about opportunities that are there with regard to that challenge that we've just mentioned.
In terms of corporate governance, I think very few countries compared to Zimbabwe. The ethics of trade, the ethics of management, I think Zimbabwe is much, much above many countries. This is my view, of course, subject to any debate. But I'm saying so because the ethics that you see in some areas are not what you would expect. And as a result, you hear actors in the economy complaining here and there because, for example, some people say, you are in our country, you must do what I want, me as the policeman and so. They don't care about the effects of that to the economic activities. And it seems that no one educates them to say, no, you have to treat a visitor like a king.
So there are many opportunities for those who train in corporate governance, and again, Ambassador Matemadanda, those who train in languages, because it's also very important to understand where all of us are coming from.
Yes.
This is Ambassador Victor Matemadanda. He's our guest today. We are talking about how Zimbabwe is trading with Mozambique economically. And of course, he's going to mention some of the things that are to do with international relations. But most interestingly, you are also going to be telling us about this viral audio where you are attacking your principal, or allegedly attacking your principal. So stay tuned to Economic Forum. We are now in the second segment of Economic Forum, where today we are discussing with Zimbabwe's ambassador to Mozambique, Comrade Victor Matemadanda. We discussed in the first segment about the trade opportunities, where we've gone with the Beira corridor, which he says it's expanding and over-expanding, as well as other challenges that are faced. And now we would want Ambassador Matemadanda to look at the benefits derived from the membership of organizations such as SADC, COMESA, and PTA, which I believe Mozambique is a member of.
In this phase of leaders, we have had very good brands in that they have finally brought the common market for the other part, and also almost the whole of Africa. What this means is that we now can sell whatever commodity we can anywhere in the SADC and in the PTA area. But as you may know, you want to domesticate these laws before they are effected. And also, one thing that I think is very critical is to teach or familiarize our operators what it means, for example, to be in the PTA, to be in the SADC, those many agreements that we make, those protocols, that so that the implementers understand. For example, you have a common driver's license for the SADC. But one policeman might not know it. And he may take the whole day denying movement to a driver because he does not know that there is an agreement that these driver's licenses work in the area. So what is critical here is to internalize and operationalize these laws so that they are understood. But for business and investment, this is the best thing that has come to Africa. And we hope that the leaders of Africa will understand that not any other region is going to develop Africa other than Africans themselves.
Ambassador Matemadanda, in most cases when we are discussing Mozambique and business, we are mainly discussing about the corridor, what happens to the goods from the RC, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and so forth, and vice versa. But what is it really that we get from Mozambique itself?
We are getting things like electricity. We are also having combined projects with Mozambique. The Mbandakua hydro project. We are together. We are involved in many development activities with Mozambique. And
agriculture, tourism.
I want Zimbabwe to know that President Nyusi is very committed to have Zimbabweans invest in Mozambique, especially in the areas of farming, almost everything. But he has asked me to bring as many farmers as possible to Mozambique, and he is prepared to capacitate them or to make a startup. He's prepared. So I think we are going to benefit much.
Do you have any success stories about Zimbabweans in Mozambique undergoing different projects, without even mentioning their names, what they are involved in right now, which you, as the president's representative there, are proud of?
Yeah, we have a thriving goat project just outside Maputo, being done by someone from Mat South. In fact, it's a couple, husband and wife. They are doing very well. There are many people that are involved in agriculture. Just 2 weeks ago, I met a Zimbabwean woman in Tete who is exporting vegetables from Mbare. If I tell you the volumes, you will not agree. But she's taking more than 30,000 tons a month. She's called now Miss Greens there. So you can see the level of business activities that are there.
Well, it was very interesting, Ambassador Matemadanda, in these two segments, the first and second segment, where you were telling us about trade between Mozambique and Zimbabwe and other aspects of international relations and the boosting of international trade. But when we bring you back in the third and final segment, we'll be asking you about the audio that is purportedly coming from you and attacking your principal, His Excellency the President. So join us in the third and final segment of Economic Forum, where today our guest is Ambassador Victor Matemadanda, who represents Zimbabwe in Mozambique. We are now in the third and final segment of Economic Forum, where today we are discussing with Zimbabwe's ambassador to Mozambique, that's Dr. Victor Matemadanda. I'd actually forgotten that you studied and also graduated in the degree of Doctor of Business Administration. Congratulations are in order.
Thank you.
Yeah. Having said that, I promised viewers earlier on that we will listen to the audio where you are purportedly attacking your principal, His Excellency the President, and want to hear you responding to that. So let's listen to the audio.
What we are saying, Arumezi, kuti amusi kuonawo here imimi sevanhu veZimbabwe, amusi kuzoona here kuti utongi hwedu hwakudzokera kuutongi huya hwatakarwisa huyawo, ende huri kudzokera mbichana huchidzokera hwakawanda kudai. Ndo patiri kuti vakomana hatisi kuti tinovenga vamunangagwa kana vachiwenga kana kuti ZANU-PF. No. ZANU-PF ibato revatema vemuno muZimbabwe.
So having listened to that audio, I now ask you, Ambassador Dr. Victor Matemadanda, can you confirm or deny that you are actually the one in that audio attacking your principal, His Excellency the President?
If you listen carefully, you hear that the accent of that person is the Zulu accent. And you listen to me, my accent is Shangwe, Karanga, and Ndebele. So, yes, he tries to I think he does some rehearsals to try and bring a voice that is very similar to mine.
Some people were convinced, I suppose.
They could be, because some people do not take time to listen and analyze, but the truth is that vayandi baba vari kuda kuve inini. Saka ndaitoti inini dai vandipa zvavo mumhuri yavo ndisarudze, because he has, I think, convinced his wife, his children, that he is Matemadanda when he is not. But ndiri kuti inini pane vanhu who would, during our time, akagona kukava bhora oti ndonzi Pele, ndonzi Chakati, but at the end of the day vaizoziva kuti vanodzokera kumba kwavo. Now this one forgets. It's almost a year now. He's still Matemadanda, and I think he's having a broadcasting studio yaari kutogadzira kuti Matemadanda when he is not. I would even want also to tell you that one day I was surprised by Facebook that one of Victor Matemadanda ari murungu. I don't know what they are getting from this name. Yes. But
what has been the response from His Excellency the President, who you are purportedly addressing in that audio?
The President is from the school of intelligence. He knows what goes on in politics. He knows what goes on with the detractors. And he knows the respect that I have for him. He knows how we interact. Being ambassador, I am a phone call away from the President. We talk, and at times we just laugh it off. Say, Vatanga vanhu, at times he tells me, Kunicha, and so forth. I have a personal relationship with the President. Many people might not know that we went to the same school. That was Mumba Secondary School in Zambia. And but I was in the same class with his brother Stephen, and we were being punished for not emulating ED. So the President has not lost any confidence in me because of these efforts. And my thinking is that initially it was started by my detractors who had wanted, of course, to put sour relations between me and the President.
Detractors from where, Ambassador? Obviously. From within the party or from outside or the former government?
People have got detractors even in their homes. So you cannot fail to have someone who thinks even in the party you should not hold this position. They are there, people, it's natural. People do think, I think people want to be themselves. That is normal. And the President knows it as a leader, a seasoned leader, he knows. But then this has been taken by opportunists. In fact, there is a political party that has made it their theme of campaign.
Maybe, Ambassador Dr. Matemadanda, it's easy for those detractors that you're talking about to sell this type of audio. Because once upon a time, you were a very critical person, even within the party. Talk about that time and contextualize it.
In the 70s, I remember ndakagara muhomwe 2 years in a picture yavamugabe muhomwe ndanonga bepa. That was Zambia Times yavanga varipo nawankomo. 2 years ndine bepa iroro. I loved him. And all this journey I loved Vamugabe. But Vamugabe pavakatanga kubuda, you know, if you hear the communication, I did not just start to resist. I first talked to him. In my view, and our view as war veterans, we thought he had wanted to create a dynasty where he would put in office his wife and maybe children later. And this was not a secret. You remember with Kwakazoita's slogan,
But you had no problem when the New Republic came in?
No, I got arrested. Everyone knows it. I'm part of the making of the Second Republic.
Yeah.
No one can deny that. And I was, me with this comrade Gaza,
Yes.
we were the first people to pronounce Mnangagwa as the next president. And because Mahia was our spokesperson, Akai repeater, Nomba Tanga kupinda. 2 days later, Ndiva ndapinda. But then I got arrested 4 more times after that. Fighting could President Mnangagwa apinde. And that he is my choice. In fact, because I got arrested more than anyone for ED. And I still stand with ED.
Yes.
And he knows that on this we are together.
Just to finish off, Ambassador Dr. Matemadanda,
Yes.
Are you still the Secretary General of the War Veterans? Because at times we hear some undertones to the fact that there are other branches also.
We have not gone for elections. And in the last executive, I became the Secretary General. And
Which year was that, by the way?
It was 2014, and we had an what you call extraordinary also Congress because of issues that were there, which extended our term. It was supposed to expire, I think, in 2021, but because of COVID and so forth, we had to postpone the elections, and then after that, we had wanted to do them before these elections, the current elections. And when we wrote to the president to invite him to officiate as the patron on our Congress, he advised that we should do the elections after the August 2023 elections.
So, having said that, you are still the Secretary General.
We have, in my absence, we have appointed an acting person who is the provincial chairperson of the Midlands chapter of the War Veterans, Maim Pass. She's acting because I obviously cannot do the work when I'm away. But the executive still stands.
That was the Ambassador, Comrade Victor Matemadanda, who represents Zimbabwe in Mozambique, who has been telling us about trade issues as well as clearing the air about the viral audio that has been doing the rounds. So what remains is to thank you, Ambassador, for coming on to Economic Forum, and also to thank the studio crew for that. So until next time, this is John Masu wishing you happy viewing.